our nervous system needs stability, consistency for safety. The group that had instability lost it. They absolutely lost the plot. And there are times when life really slaps us in the face and we gotta go back to basics. But we need to know what those basics are. When things that you value, that make you feel good, you enjoy, make you happy, start to fall off, it's a really great warning sign. You make the rules. This is your life. Hello. All right, today we are going to be talking about how to create stability through your non-negotiables. I really look forward to diving into this. This is so on point. This episode is kind of connected to episode that I shared a couple of weeks ago, episode 15. I'll make sure I will link it up in the show notes below, as we need stability to feel safety in our nervous system. And sometimes life throws some unexpected circumstances our way that we really need stability in order to come back to center, to come back to ourselves. And so many times we get tested by life, so let's just bring it straight back to basics in those moments. That is what helps you feel good and thrive. So if you want to know how to do that, you want to know what my non-negotiables are, and you want to have a way to create your own as well, so that you are rock solid no matter what blows come your way, let's dive in. Welcome to Resonance, a podcast for ambitious, heart-led humans craving more balance, depth, and aliveness in their lives. I'm your host, Vic, health coach, yoga teacher, facilitator, and fellow high achiever, learning to live in tune with my nervous system, not against it. And this space is here to remind you that you can have it all. The career, the success, the fulfillment, all aligned with your truth. Through honest conversations, expert insights, and practical tools, we'll explore how to work with your body, mind, emotions, and spirit, not against them. And the best part, you don't have to stay stuck in survival mode to get there. Because true well-being is not about being perfect. It's about being in resonance. Let's dive in. Okay, so just a little preface to stability. There's a study that's been done on monkeys when it relates to safety, stability, and their nervous system. And I think it's so fascinating. I actually learned this from my financial coach and mentor, Kate Northrup, who shares this as part of her Relaxed Money program. And effectively, there were 3 groups of monkeys, all in their own kind of little family community units. One group was given all the abundance, all the food you can imagine. They were more than well catered and provided for. They had nothing to worry about. Then there was the other group, which didn't have a lot. They didn't really have much, just enough to get by. Some days maybe even not so, but it was always the same amount. I don't have the details of the study in front of me, but there was always scarcity, I think is the headline. It's always scarcity. So one group had abundance always, and one group had scarcity always. And then there was a third group where some days they had all the food you can imagine, all the abundance, and then other days, nothing, scarcity, nada. And they couldn't predict in any way, shape, or form what that would be. It was completely random. And so between these 3 groups, what the study was looking at was the response of the mother monkeys to the environment, to the situation. And of course, as you would expect, the group that had all the abundance, they were thriving. They were fine. They were well taken care of, and they were good. Interestingly, contrary to what you might assume, the group that had scarcity, that didn't have a lot, they were also fine. They were doing pretty well. It was the third group, the group that had instability, the group that didn't know whether they would have food on the day or not. There was no way to predict it. That lost it. They absolutely lost the plot. They had to stop the study early because the monkeys went totally haywire. And why am I sharing this study is that we're not too different from monkeys. Like, we are also primal beings. We are nature, we are animals. And just as animals have a nervous system, so do we. And our nervous system needs stability, consistency for safety. So today I'm sharing with you how to create that stability for your nervous system so that you feel safe no matter what's going on around you through your daily non-negotiables. Now, a little preface to the non-negotiables. So, I mean, as you can imagine by the name, right? They're non-negotiables. But again, I actually got introduced to this concept by Kate Northrup through her program, which is Heal the Way You Work. And I'll make sure to link up a link of that in the show notes below as well. It's been like such a game-changing plan for me. I'm already someone who is super nerdy and organized and loves all these things, but just there was a lot that I learned in there, and some of that you are hearing here today. And so through this work from Kate Northrup, I learned to track my daily non-negotiables, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And the idea behind it is that they should be simple. They should be something that put you first, that make you feel better, whether it's your body, mind, spirit. And it's also something that should be easy enough for you to implement on the most stressful of days. So think travel days, think moving house, think something happening out of the blue outside of your control. Like, they should be simple enough for you to be able to do no matter what. Because the reality is, like, we all have these ebbs and flows in life where sometimes we have more capacity in our nervous system. That's when we're like really creative and you know, bring incredible things to life, create something out of nothing. And then there are times when like life really slaps us in the face and we got to go back to basics. But we need to know what those basics are. And so I started with 5 non-negotiables that I used as part of Kate's Do Less planner. It's out of print, but it was basically just each week as I did my daily planning, weekly planning, sorry. I would pick out a list of 5 non-negotiables for that week, and then each night before I go to bed, I'd tick them off. And oh my gosh, for a type A perfectionist girly, I love ticking them boxes. It's fun, and it makes me feel really good about myself. So I loved it, and I still do it to this day. What were and what are my non-negotiables? I will give you some ideas, and then you'll be able to take that and implement it for yourself. Today's going to be pretty short and sweet, but impactful if you actually take this away and do something with it and then follow through. So currently my non-negotiables are actually in a bit of a liminal transition space because I currently have been in one of these moments where life kind of had to slap me in the face a little bit. So things are shifting and changing, but I'm just going to talk to maybe how I started and then what it evolved to and what it is now. So how I started was my first non-negotiable, and you know what, I'm even gonna like pull them out here for fun because I'm pretty sure that I even like wrote them down and put them in my calendar because if you haven't listened to the episode where I talk about planning and putting things on your calendar, my gosh, you need to do it. It's gonna change your life. And that's how I started. So I created a little half hour, just kidding, it's like a 3-hour time block in my mornings, which is my morning ritual, and included the following non-negotiables. So the first was meditate daily, even if it's for just 1 minute. So back then I didn't meditate as regularly as I do now. So it was just 1 minute of stillness was my one non-negotiable. The other one, and see, these don't have to be daily, by the way. You make the rules. This is your life. So the second one was move my body with joy at least 3 to 5 times a week. I love that. The third one, how simple is this? Take my vitamins daily. And by the way, it was a great reminder because sometimes I'd be in bed and I'd be like ticking the boxes and be like, oh no, I forgot to have my magnesium. And then I like get up and go to the kitchen and have my magnesium. Oh my gosh, this was a non-negotiable on my list. Now it's just like part of life. It was have my cacao daily and mindfully. How good is that? And then I had a little reminder in my calendar towards the evening. That's like my evening ritual, and that non-negotiable non-negotiable was just to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, which 8 hours is usually like my minimum to thrive. 7 is my minimum to be okay. Anything less than 7, you know that I am struggling, because sleep is like one of my number one non-negotiables. But if left to my own devices, I can sleep for like 9 to 10 hours. I love sleeping. Anyway, so that's how I started. And then it's evolved over time. So where I'm at right now is my first non-negotiable is my Ziva meditation that I do every day, twice a day. So that is quite exciting that's evolved so much. And I kid you not, I have done it every single day since the very first time that I practiced the Ziva meditation technique with Emily Fletcher in her course in November of 2024. So I'll link it up below just in case you're interested. Some of my friends have already done it. I've read her book, which I highly recommend as well. I'll link that in the show notes too. It's changed my life. I kid you not. So that is like every day, my non-negotiable. Movement as well is on my list. I actually now have it as move my body daily with joy, but that's because I tend to walk Piper most days anyway. So, if anything, I at least get out for a walk, which although sometimes when, sparkles really hit the fan, we don't, and that's okay. You make the rules. My third current non-negotiable is still to sleep 7 to 8 hours. So that like is always on there. I've also had for a period of time a veggie packed meal at least once a day. I thought that was really cool because that like helped remind me to have a plant forward meal. Now, what I mean by plant forward, I don't mean that I'm just eating salads. I just mean that like I do my best to make my plants the star of the show, so to speak. So like a veggie curry or a vegetable and tofu soup, or I have so many recipes up my sleeve. If you're interested, let me know. Lots and lots to share there. And another one is my daily lunchtime yoga nidra practice, which is translates to conscious and aware sleep. If you haven't listened to the episode where I go into yoga, I'll link that up as well. Now, I will admit this one has actually fallen off a little bit in the last couple of weeks. I've just had a few things throw me off center and out of routine, but I definitely have the intention of bringing that back into the non-negotiables. So here we go. Like, you see, like, even though there's things on the list, and then if we don't do them, it's okay. Like, you make the rules. It's just, I find actually having this list of non-negotiables and then seeing how I go against those non-negotiables a really great reflection of my mental and emotional state. Because if I'm easily ticking all the things, doing all the stuff, I know that I'm like, I've got heaps of capacity, I'm doing great, I'm thriving. And then when things start to fall off, that already starts to become my little warning sign of like, ooh, we've got to look at something here. But most importantly, and I would say probably like the two that never fall off, is the sleep and the meditation. Like, these are just actual non-negotiables. They're what help create stability in my day, because I know that no matter what goes on, I give my body that rest that it needs at night. And B, I give my body the rest that it needs throughout the day. No negotiating here. Now, there's a few others that I kind of had here and there, because over time, you see, like, the longer you do something, the more of a habit it becomes, right? Like, I've spoken about this on the podcast before as well. And I actually found this non-negotiables list a really great way to build habits, So once you've ingrained the habit of ticking things off the list, which, let's be honest, if you're listening to the podcast, you probably like ticking things off a list. Then it's a great prompter to start to bring new behaviors into your life. So I brought in some tantric spiritual practices into my daily routine, like ancestral karma prostrations or uchara. Most of you, this will mean nothing to. It's okay. I might elaborate on them a little bit more one day, maybe. We'll see. And also things like eating mindfully. So like have one mindful meal a day, or all these random little bits and pieces. So you can play with it. You can play with your list. But I would suggest, strongly recommend finding like 1 to 3 that are definitely your absolute non-negotiables. You can do them no matter what, and that's going to really help you find that groundedness and stability despite anything else going on outside of you that is outside of your control. So as I promised, this is really short and sweet this week. My question to you would be, what are your 1 to 3 non-negotiables? Like, have a think, have a little journal, have a little scribble. No more than 5. I know I listed more than 5, but that is because they have evolved over time. So I never have more than 5 non-negotiables on my list. Just wanted to be really clear about that. I just wanted to sprinkle a few more in there so that you could A, see the evolution of the journey, but also B, experience the breadth that it can be. And this is like in no way limiting. Like it could be something like drink 2 liters of water a day, or make sure I have breakfast, or whatever. Like keep it, the simpler the better, because the better you will feel about yourself when you do them. Yeah, just keep it simple. You should be able to do this even when you're traveling, even when you're moving, even in days where everything goes awry. Should be doable. And then for a little bonus, create a way to track it daily. So whether it's on your phone or your reminders or your to-do list or whatever that floats your boat, if you want something to help you, I've actually created a download just below this podcast for you to track your own non-negotiables, because I was like, you know what, let's make people's life easier. Here's something to help you. And lastly, just to wrap up, just know that if you don't follow through with your non-negotiables, just know that it's okay. And also like just treat it as a signal, because at the end of the day, like these non-negotiables, they should be something that is important to you, that you value, that makes you feel good, you enjoy, and makes you happy. And when things that you value, that make you feel good, you enjoy, make you happy, start to fall off, it's a really great little reminder, little great warning sign. So no judgment, just awareness, always. Thank you so much for listening this week. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. If you're enjoying this episode and want to stay connected beyond the podcast, I would love to invite you to join my newsletter. It is a soft little pause in your inbox, an email that you actually want to read, sharing reflections, wellness wisdom, and seasonal insights to really help you slow down and come back to yourself. You'll also be the first one to hear about new offerings, events, upcoming episodes of Resonance, and so much more. The links are right below this in the show notes. You can sign up through my website, liveandhealth.co, or by heading to any of my socials at liveandhealth. Links are in my bio. It is free, it is gentle, and always created with care. The views and opinions expressed by guests on Resonance are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of me, Viktoria Levenberg, Live in Health, or anyone working within the Live in Health brand. This space welcomes a diversity of ideas, experiences, and stories, and part of Resonance is learning to take what aligns and gently leaving the rest. Also, while I am a national board-certified health and wellness coach and deeply passionate about well-being, this podcast is intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. Resonance does not substitute personalized medical, psychological, or therapeutic advice. Always seek guidance from qualified professionals for any physical, emotional, or mental health concerns.